Okay, so here's the post, and you can see they're bent. And so if I just barely let them catch on these blocks, then gravity will take them down to the lowest point. And then you could take an aluminum angle and rub it on them, and the oxidation might come off on the maple, or you could take just some graphite and put it on the edge and rub it right like that. And then I take a pencil and make it a tad bit darker, right like that. Okay, so that's the first illustration right there. Now we'll go over to the seat and start reaming. Okay, so before I get to the post, I'm going to go over these spindles again because, like I said, they can be confusing. Because the sight line for this spindle right here is out that way, and for this one is this way, and for this one right here is that way. Now it has to do with the fact that the spindles are bent, and that bend throws them out this way too far. So you have to bring it in. So you bring it in by leaning it in a tad bit. So you would be, for this one right here, you're leaning this way and back. Same way on all of these, just following that line. Now one thing you'll see on that, it gives you resultant angles. And the resultant angles are like 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, 3.2. It's just the way the math works out. Don't pay any attention to points, ones, you know. I don't build the chair that way. Just get close and drill it. So don't get hung up on that stuff. Okay, with that said, now we'll go to the post. So you see three lines coming off of the post mortise here, and so there's this line, and there's this line, and there's this line. A little confusing, but I straightened it out. So this line's the typical line that you're probably used to if you've built chairs before, and that is the sighting angle line. And that's the one that you would be putting your tri-square on to sight off of the top of the post. And I show that in one of the illustrations. Now, this line here is perpendicular to this one. And what you're going to use this one for is the resultant angle. So you might use your T-bevel square to read off of your reamer when you're reaming, but you can't do that because the post is bent. So you have to read off the top of the post. And if you take your T-bevel square and just put the blade right on that line right there, you can sight off of the top of the post, the T-bevel square, blade, and the line the same way you would sight off the resultant angle, and you can just nail it. So you're looking at both of those. You can dial the top of that post just right in. This line right here is for the winding stick. So once you get both posts really close, I'd take down the post to within 1/8 of their depth, both of them, and then put a winding stick across the top of the post and sight on this line right here. And then you can just dial in just your last little bit using that line. So that's what all that is. So let's go and bore that hole. So now let's look at the post and the bending form. So this is the way the bending form looks. This is a tapered hole, so this fits right down in that. So when I steamed it, I just set it down in that and pulled it up right there with a clamp. Now, one thing that you might observe is it's not tight against the form. Doesn't really have to be tight against the form. We're sighting off of this point right here. So if you're off the form some, no big deal, don't worry about it. But it will come into play. So if you look at the plans, it will show that you're going to drill this hole at 2 degrees. Right? But you're going to ream it at 12.9. When you're drilling it at 2 degrees, you're talking about this section of the post right here. That's at 2 degrees. But the post bends and comes way back up to here. So we're going to drill at 2, set the T-bevel square at 2. But then when we start reaming, the T-bevel square will be set at 12.9 or 13. And you're going to be sighting off of the top of the post for that. Okay. Now, with that said, we'll look at this again. And you see, I'm not tied up against the post or the form. I'm a 1/2 inch off of it. Right? So what I've found is that for every 1/4 inch you're off the form, you need to add another degree to the angle here, because you're going to be up too straight. Right? Well, we got our guy again running the trimmer. So I'm going to add, I'm a 1/2 inch off, so I'm going to add 2 degrees. So that means I'm going to drill this at 4 instead of at 2. Let's do that. Alright, so it's a 1/2 inch hole. Set for 4. Oh, there it is. And you can, of course, put a block under here and bore into the block. I prefer to bore back through the other side. Okay, here I am. There it is. I don't even flip it over, I just go underneath here and bore it. Just kind of stand behind it. Okay, got some parts out here now, and the guy with the leaf blowers quit. So, like I said, I've already done this one. Put it in position there. And so now I'll do this one right here. Now, get my reamer. So if you're not familiar with this, this is a 6-degree reamer. You can make one yourself. You can buy one. Tim Manny made this one. Alia Bazzari makes them too. I've got some by Alia. Both of them are good. So the first thing I'll do is just get a little bit of a taper going so I can get a reading off of it. Oh, I've neglected to say, and you might have already seen this, this is not an armchair seat. I've already got the post tapered on the armchair that I'm going to show these techniques on, and so I had to grab, I've got some side chairs to make, so I grabbed the side chair. It's the same technique, so just showing you how to do it on a side chair. And then as soon as I get this, the next videos will be of the armchair. So that's why the posts are a little bit shorter and the seat's a little bit smaller and doesn't have an arm support out here and all that. So anyway, so twist this in, line up the orientation mark in the back with the extended sighting angle line. And now, a lot of you are familiar with this right here, except typically you might start off with the reamer, but here you're starting off the top of the post, and in the it's shown in the illustrations, and I've got it labeled with letters. I don't know what the letters are right off the bat, but so it's hitting about right here, which means I need to come left. Now you don't want to overdo it, and you're so high up, and we're just early on with the hole, changes can happen fast. So you're going to try to take it easy with those changes, do them small increments. So that one you're familiar with. This one you might not be, and that is sighting it the same way with off of this 90-degree angle. So this is a T-bevel square Tim Manny made for me, and the reason I like to use it instead of setting this, so this was set at 4 degrees, I just drilled with it, I would reset that to 13. But it's curved down here on the bottom, and it's a little harder to get it right on that line. Whereas with this one's square on the bottom, and so I can just take it, set the bottom of the T-bevel square right on the line, and then line up the center of the post, the T-bevel square, the blade of the T-bevel square, and this line right here. Okay, and those three, and goodness gracious, it's splitting right down the center of it. So try not to mess with that one, which would be about impossible. But where was this one now? I got to come to the left, but just slightly. Now, one other thing, we've got a depth. So, like I said, this is for a side chair, and the side chair goes down deeper. So I've got this set for something. What is that set for? Let me see. 6 5/8. That's what the side chair is. But your armchair plans are going to show something different. Let me just look. Okay, so 7 9/16 is what the armchair plans are going to be there. So let's just get to reaming. Yep, that's why I don't wear a button-down shirt, but my wife wanted me to look good today, so I hope it's working. So look at that. Oh, really, really sweet. It's just going right through the center of it there. Okay, both of them are really good. I wish I was there, but I'm not even close. Got a good inch to go. Depth, so I don't know what, 3/8 maybe, something like that. Okay, got off slightly. It's hitting just on the side of the tenon there, so I need to take her just a little bit to the right. And it's hitting on the back of the tenon, so I got to come back. So back and to the right. Just a small amount though. Okay. So I kind of gained about half of it. And I gained all of that one. I'm just sitting right back in the center again. And I've got about a 1/4 inch or less to go. So just try to maintain this one, take it a little bit over to the right. Okay. Ought to be getting awful close. So as you notice, the bottom of this has to be right on this siding angle line, because over here you're going to get a different read. So you can see I've got about a 1/16 to go, maybe a heavy 1/16. Let's see where I am. I'm really good in that direction. I'm back a little bit in that direction. So now that I've got just a little bit more to go, I'll look at the wind. So we'll move this out of the way. So I can take this and put it right up on those tenons and sight over the top. And I can see that this is showing that it's back just the least bit, and that's of course what I was showing with the squares. And so I can see that that post needs to go that way just a little bit. So let's see if I can do that. Sounds like it's some hour there. Okay, I'm dead on it. I'm really close. I'm about maybe a 1/16 to the inside. Not a big deal. And that is just splitting it right there. So that should have fixed it. Let's see what she looks like. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's good enough, especially for a chair. It's about, oh, I'd say a little more than a 1/16 off, but you know, that's in this length right here, 18 inches or so. Okay, well that's the first two illustrations there, 1 and 2, and now these will go back into the kiln. And the next time when we come back, I'm going to show you how I assemble the box stretcher. So I'll have the seat all carved and just jump straight to assembling the box stretcher. I don't have an illustration on that, but I do want to show that because there's a couple little tricks there.